Welcome to M.J. Welch's Palm Beach Estate Auction 145. For those of you who have new to our auctions, we specialize in estates of deceased or that downsizing, going to retirement homes from Palm Beach to Miami Beach, and we truck it to our gallery in Tennessee. We don't take everything out of the estates. We actually turn down about 80% of what we look at. But what I'm going to show you is a combination of about 14 consigners. We got a Cinderella cast iron vintage stove in this particular auction. These are getting harder and harder to find, so you can cook on top of it also. We also have this nice stained glass in the window of a lighthouse. Be good in Lighthouse Point, wouldn't it, in Florida? Let me move along. There's a Art Nouveau. That's an old desk right there. Vintage scale. There's a bronze right there. We have a little bit of everything. Mid-century furniture. You got a stereo surround sound system. We have brand new cordials. Here's a nice plant stand. We give you a mix. Here's a nice planter. I'm gonna move around. There's some old Roseville. For you fishermen, we have binoculars. I'm going to show you a rarity. This whole bedroom set. That's the dresser back there, lingerie chest, the queen beds, the vanity dresser, the stool, the mirrors. These all came from the estate. It was, I don't remember, she said her mother's or grandmother's, the older woman. But this is a one-of-kind. It was never cut for retail. It was designed in the 20s. I have paperwork on the company that made this. It was on the showroom, but like I said, they never cut it. So it was never produced. This is a one-of-a-kind. Whoever gets this, and it's in excellent condition, especially for the age. This is somewhere between 1920 and 1929. You got all this inlaid work. This is all inlaid. We have, of course, this, and on top, I'll go ahead and show you. These are antique style candelabras, kind of ornate. They're just resin made, but they're nice. But anyway, you got two of these lingerie chests. Every piece is being sold separately. This is a hard piece to pick up on, but when you stand back and look at it, this particular piece is wider at the bottom than it is at the top. Which is unusual because they're usually square and boxy. Unusual. That's a brand new Waterford lamp sitting there. Here's some vintage. There's two of these. Video doesn't show it, but it's got an etching on the glass shaft. There's some pottery. Another estate, I got to show you this chair. This is part of this estate. This was never produced. Whoever owns this chair is going to have the only chair made. This came out of the estate. Now, after we got it, we went to another estate and picked up this desk, which is made basically the same way. It's a hand-tooled leather top desk, but look at the inlay, and this is from the 20s. So it's ironic that this happened to blend in, but that's it. Here's some like clay pottery. That's a heavy. You call it a planter, but they make tables out of them, side tables, end tables. they're good for indoors and outdoors, the way they're made. There's a little covered jar down there. We have a Victorian glass. It has glass insert. Originally, these had marble tops, so imagine the marble got broke, and they put the glass insert, and you got this metal picture. Here's the vintage Roseville pottery pedestal. Usually we get the planter and not the pedestal or the pedestal. But this one's like pristine, so this is really nice. I want to show you this footboard on these beds. This is really nice. Now, I don't have the wood cross rails to hold the mattress, but that's minor. You can go to the hardware store and get those. Got a nice little runner. Here's a nice little vanity bench, window bench, call it whatever you want. We have a sofa over here. We have a demi-lune table here, little side table. Here's a new CD writer. In other words, you can cut your own music and so forth. Look at the top on this and the bottom. Came up with some really nice furniture. There's a commercial high chair. We did represent one of the attorneys in Florida, and this table is heavy, well made. The chairs are all very, very sturdy. Nice, heavy. I think this is like 24 inches, so if you take out this 22-inch leaf, leaf looks bigger than 22. But take out the leaf, you got a 48-inch round table. And leaf does look bigger. Leaf. Here's a vintage brass tray. This is really nice. Heavy. It's a brass, got a good pattern to it. On it are a couple antiques. These are, that happens to be a cast iron. It was used in cigar stores to advertise. That's a cast iron mermaid right there. And we got some cookware. You'll have to look on the web and you'll see we have some prints, some artwork that's unframed. We do have this rifle. I've been selling guns. I'm licensed to sell guns as a state liquidator. Live Auctioneers does not like us to sell these unless we actually have a permit, like a resale permit. This is what they call Savage. I put this about 85%, maybe 90%. It's a 16 gauge shotgun. If you happen to look, I think it's lot number 46. Not too much description, no pictures. There's a clarinet, vintage clarinet. Move back around. Oh, for those of you like tools, now these boxes, the pictures will show you what's in the boxes. There's a box of vintage tools. There's a box of vintage tools. Here's the no-time bed warmer. That's where they used to, in the olden days, for those of you who don't remember, they had fireplaces. When they go to bed, there was no heat, so they took coals and put in there, and they could stick that under their blankets, under the sheets, and make the bed warm. Let's see, I missed that over there. That's a little music box right there. No dresser tray, perfume bottle. I got a little bronze swinging girl. There's that other cut crystal lamp. This mirror came out of that bed set I was talking about. Very nice, but you see that finial right there? Look, that one's missing. I think I had that in a package, this finial. There's a little envelope she gave me with a couple extra pieces. I think that one's in there. This mirror over here is missing. It's missing the bottom one. And I don't have that one. And that one, right? Look at see the bottom of that one? Little damage there. Here's a great looking dresser for that set. On it, we got a mix of stuff. It's from Star Wars, I guess. Peruse away, crystal bowl. This is stainless flatware. Nice pattern, though. Nice pattern. This is one really flawless cut pieces. My pictures will never show what we get to see here. And these crystal. Here's a good piece here, vintage piece. A couple candlesticks. Okay, in the cabinet. In the cabinet, we got a lot of stuff in here. A lot of crystal. You got, what's that, yadro back there, but just fine crystal. A lot of Waterford. Where we are located, we get lots of Waterford. So we bring it here, and you folks in the area and those online can take advantage of what we bring up here. We go into some really nice homes. I was just in a home before I left. I have to do an appraisal for them, and the house was over $7.5 million home. A nice little home. So we're fortunate enough to get to see some really quality items for our auctions. Hope this is a really, really good piece there. Of course, this is nice too. And of course, this one, it needs some lime oil put in it, but this is a vintage piece. Excellent cut, no damage. These are rare pieces. I'll tell you all about them on the web. I'm not gonna bore you. These Waterford back there. Here's a good vintage piece right here. This is an old one. Heavy, heavy crystal, fine cut, just like this one. There's some Waterford back there, some art glass. Rail piece here. These are custom made and hand painted. It tells you on the web the history of that kind of thing. There's a lot of this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna move out of here. On this table, oh, this quilt. This is an old quilt. You need to check this one out. I gave you, that's the back to this chairs and tables over here. There's 7 chairs to this table. The lawyer doesn't need the money. He said, I'm gonna keep one chair. I like one chair for what I use it for, so he kept one chair. But you like Barbie. These are very rare. You're talking about some money. It does have a little crack in the leg here. I think one has a crack in the leg and the same thing. One of them has a crack on the hand. Other than that, you're looking at about $800 for the two. There's what, tiny tears. She comes with a blanket and one diaper. And that's, I think, Mattel. Here's some old vintage doll clothes. You got glasses in there, you got shoes, but lots of little dresses. Little dresser set. It's a combination. You got 2 decanters in this metal tray. I forget how much there. I think she's a Mattel. These are 4 Indian dolls. Now we have bag lots assortments, like these belt buckles. Like this one, I think. This one marked Tiffany and Company. These are Blackamoor musicians. They're in the bag lot, so you can't see them, but these are little Blackamoor musicians. These are postcards, but this is hand done. That's like felt or material right there. There's another bag lot. Looks like somebody's been in too. All right, let me go over here again. Nice metal plant stand. Very nice. These are 19th century. They're very heavy. They're brass candlestick holders. And of course, you got your 3-tier. We got this gorgeous chandelier, which we did not clean. I think it's got 18 lights on it. Came out of a really nice home. There's a Matisse. People know the artwork, know Matisse. Okay. This is a pride and joy here. This is a rare. I've sold I don't know how many dressers and antiques over the last 40 years. This is bird's eye maple. Excellent condition for the age. You need to take a look at this. This is really nice. You can put stuff down here. This one's the same way. I wanted you to see, what's that? That's screws in there. To put that together, I think we went ahead and put screws in it. Another little cabinet. Look at the little feet. This is really exquisite. I just love this. This is all wood carved. You can see its original mirror, beveled mirrors. This is a pride and joy. Even at the age, you can see it is preserved. This came off the ocean in, I'm trying to think, Highland Beach, Florida. Not that it makes a difference. Back here we have the brass headboard with the figures on it. And they're on the bottom too, down there. Right here is where it came unsoldered. And they shouldn't solder, they should have braced it with brass. Had been fine. Those of you like Sotheby's and stuff, here's a bunch of Sotheby books. This is a chess set. You plug it in and the lights on it make the things glow. All right. These are weighted sterling candelabras, nice little lamp. Here's a hanging light you'll probably never see again. It's got the double-wing putties. This is bronze. A nice candelabras here. We have, this is hand painted. Okay, this is him. I'm going to show you if I can the back side. It's got, it's an oldie. It's painted, it's got the scenes on the back, more elaborate in the front. I get a lot from Florida of these in the 50s. This is older. Just sharing that with you. This is nice. This is, again, from the lawyer's estate. He's got 10 chairs. I got 2 chairs. He had a dog and scuffed up. Yeah, this is so easy. Just lightly sand that and stain it. That one's fine. And over here, I noticed on the very top, right there, there was a little scuff. What's that? Lennox There's a brand new pair of Reebok golf shoes. Those are women golf shoes. And of course, that's vintage Wedgwood and flatware. All this china here. Who makes a... I'll let you look at that. Okay. Oh, this table, how it works. This pulls out here, and this leaf, you can see those end pieces slip under here, and they just rest on here. So, an unusual way to add your leaves to it. Here's a vintage Browning gun. Like I said, I've sold I don't know how many guns over the years. I appraise guns. In fact, that $7.5 million home, I'm appraising only 25 of their guns. This is about 1,800 retail guns, so take advantage of that. Here's an old, that was on the end of the box that got left. But anyway, here's a vintage box, storage chest, whatever you want to call it. It's a Knotty. Look at that. This is a nice piece. Retail wise, I would say if in the store it'd be $350, $385, something like that. Here's a nice little piece too. This is brass, very ornate, older piece. There's a platter. Let me see if I miss anything along here. Of course, a little vintage purse. And you got that. We got this, what, Picasso style work. Over here we have marble top, pine. I guess in the old days, I used to fill these with beams to show off, I guess. Kitchen, it's a kitchen counter thing. This is nice, this is like pewter. There's a Waterford piece there. There's a signed litho, nice seam. This is a deco lamp with a gazelle. Pristine condition. Somebody asked me, cracks, chips, dents? No, pristine. Brand new Waterford, still in the box. Another piece of crystal. This is Waterford, there's the box. They were in the boxes when we got them. Elderly people do a lot of that. They buy the stuff and then never use it. I think I missed something here. These are really nice. These are glass 3-tier. These 4 vases are nice. They're very nice. They got some costume jewelry here. This is these colors. That's Swarovski necklace. That's an old piece, probably 1940s. There's some jewelry. There's some jewelry. And here I think is another Picasso style. That one I think is a print. Let me go over here. I missed a lot. I got these hand-painted towelware trays. One's in green, one's in black. This is a Pine Hutch. It's 2 pieces. The whole top lifts off. The glass shelves come off. It's older, and some of the doors are kind of sticky. They need like soap on them. Needs a little TLC. Other than that, it's pristine, but the drawers are a little tight. They did add some lights, it looks like, in the top. Yeah, I see the cord. And they got a glass shelf here, and they still got the wood shelf there. You can see what's up here. I'll show you. Here's a little vintage toy sewing machine. I believe that's Oy-Force, Wedgwood, candlesticks. Fitz and Floyd, I think. You got that. Okay, nice cabinet. We took these out of a $2 million home. These are wall sconces. They're mid-century modern, but those are wall sconces. You got these two heavy pieces to sit there. You got a floor lamp and a table lamp. Came out of the same house, different shades, different rooms, but they are in the same family. Got this little print. Here's a pottery bowl. This is a nice piece. This is hand painted Asian. Nice piece. There's a little vintage, even though it's a print. Look at the frame. Stickley furniture. This is Stickley. It's got the there's a tag in there. But we sold the dining room table and chairs last auction, and I went to pick it up. I told the lady I'd love to have the hutch you got to go with it. She said, oh, I wasn't thinking about that. Well, she called me later, and we came and got not only the hutch, we got the side table. This is also Stickley. And that top piece lifts off. It's just set on there. Down here is a box lot. It's all air tools. So anybody in your shop or whatever have a compressor, you got air tools. And I think this is a, yeah, that's a gun. Bread gun, they call it, I think. In the garage, had the fan. They replaced fans because it was in the plastic tub. I took the motor out and plugged it up. Motor works fine, switch is fine, so we're going to sell that like it is. Nice platter. There's a nice jade piece right here. Look at that. Very nice. This is some prints. Audubon Society. Okay. There's a vintage piece. Medlac. That's a brand new Waterford. Put a candle in there. This is like late 40s, early 50s electric clock. Now, I used to be a big deco dealer. I'm not seeing this one. They did cut the cord off the back. Don't know if it doesn't work and they cut it, or it just got cut, or because it was old and probably they said safety reasons. But whoever I think will do good with that. Yadro, a couple of these, a couple of vintage salt pepper shakers. These are vintage plates. And we have the old brass quart hose, one money Bose bowl. Over here, these chairs are great. They were in a crate. I opened the crate, took them out of the plastic, put the wheels on them. They're great office chairs, desk chairs, or even little dining room chairs. Here's two bar stools, and your kids or your men that hadn't grown up, there's a drone, and you got 3 little cameras there that you can film. There's a, if you want to make your own tags, brand new. I wouldn't have brought that, but they're brand new. Let me go in the back room to see what we got back here. Okay, we have one Japanese wall plaque with the mother of pearl. Looks like it has a little jade in it. One plaque. We got this 75-inch TV. Wait a minute, I want to show you these. This is one number for the 2 of those. But this is a 75-inch TV. We also have a TV stand. a different number, DVD. That's a Blu-ray, by the way. Here's a little Foxwood pedestal table, whatever you want. These are books, or a bunch of books. I think a lot of it is Meissen. Yeah, it is Meissen. So if you want some history books on Meissen. This we pulled out of a nice condo on the ocean. I think it was Highland Beach too. They had the sofa, they had the love seat, they had this pine table, and they had this, what they call a sawhorse table. The legs actually fold up. Glass top, you got 6 chairs. But unusual, very nice, very in good condition. Towel holder right here, crystal vase. There's 2 hand-painted trays. This is hand-painted, the panda on the leaf. That's an unusual piece. There's a nice little gold frame mirror. Over here, this is Hibble. It's one of her pieces. Wine holder. Stack of soup bowls. Each are different. Flatware Community Center, silver. This is Eames table. If you're familiar with names. Now this is a very heavy, expensive. This is like a $500 door. This is metal, very ornate, and behind it you can see the glass. The glass goes in here, and goes up here, and then there's one for here. You can, in the summer, open it up, let it air out. In the winter, put those on. Okay, here's a little end table to go with all of this. 2 trays. We have here that mirror. This is one of 3 mirrors, I understand. You got one. It's all etched. You got a swamp boat guy there. It's got an alligator down there. It's got the birds and the Louisiana swamp. It's from a well-known restaurant in Louisiana. Up here, a couple of small pieces. That's a little planter stand, I guess. Let me go back here. Oh, there's a fan, Oriental fan. Got this right there. And I think these pieces all go together. Those Murano glass, candy glass back there. And you got these 3 candle pieces. The man that bought this said he may turn around and put this in the next auction, so we'll see. This is a nice bar. This came out of the Boca Raton Beach Club before they remodeled, I'm going to say 15 to 20 years ago. We had it, we used it, and we put it up for sale. We got some designer handbags. You can look on the web and see who these makers are. And we got some hats. That's a Coach bag down there on the bottom. This is plain color 76. Some people may be into that. It's a coddler thing. Look at that, nice little boots, and I think that's about it. I didn't show you the steel table, little table right there, and of course this. I think that's it. If you got any questions, people always ask me, can you mind taking another picture of this or that? No, we don't mind, as long as we got time, we can do it. You still got a lot of time. Look at the video over. The video actually shows you better than my pictures. Of course, my pictures are not that great, but that's a Yamaha, by the way. But the video should help you more on the size. Any questions, call us. Enjoy the auction.